Hello Yogis! In today's class I'm going to be guiding you through a full body Hatha class. This is for beginners to experience. There are a few more challenging poses which I urge you to enter with caution and really just listening to the body. It's good to test yourself, it's good to push yourself, but not to the point where it causes injury. Okay, so let's begin in Sukhasana, easy pose. Taking a few cleansing breaths as we close the eyes, in through the nose, sighing it out through the mouth. Feel the belly, diaphragm and chest expand on the inhale. And exhale from the top all the way down. Drawing the belly in towards the spine and up towards the diaphragm. And again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Squeezing that belly in. And let's do one more. Breathing in and out through the nose, relaxing the shoulders. Sitting up nice and straight. Feel the length in the back of the neck. And still noticing the rise and fall of your stomach, diaphragm and chest. And I'd like you to set your intention for today's class, whatever that might be for you, whether it's being present throughout the practice, focusing on the breath, allowing yourself to move deeper into the poses, and simply being present. You can softly open the eyes, focusing your gaze. You can either stay in this pose, or I'd like you to move into your shins for a hero pose. Sitting on the back of the heels, knees in line with your hips, moving the tailbone down, drawing the ribs in, shoulders back. Taking a few deep breaths. And then eagle arms, right arm underneath the left. You can either bring the back of your hands towards each other, or if you can, taking that right hand, placing the fingertips just on the base of the palm, reaching the fingertips up, feel the stretch in between the shoulders and the shoulder blades, gazing forwards, or closing the eyes, softening the space between the eyes. Holding here, or just a slight lift with the elbows, reaching the fingers a little higher. Keep moving the ribs in, drawing the tailbone down. And then keeping the elbows stacked as they are, but taking your hands and crawling the fingers towards each other behind your back, lowering the shoulders down. And then releasing the arms, changing the arms around so the opposite arms underneath, eagle arms, reaching those fingers up, spreading the shoulder blades, and maybe lifting the elbows just a little bit, deepening the stretch, softening the jaw, and noticing any tension that you're holding on to within the body or the mind, and let it go. Keeping the elbows stacked over each other, just crawling the fingers towards each other behind the back, lowering the shoulders down. Just keep lengthening the spine, space between the chin and the chest. stance, reaching your right arm up towards the ceiling, bending the elbow, and either pressing down with your left hand, as just gently pushing the head back into the arm, holding this pose, or reaching behind you and grabbing your fingers. You can also use a belt for this pose. Draw the ribs in, move the tailbone down, head back. Three more deep breaths. And then slowly changing sides. Left arm reaching up, bending the elbow, fingers moving down the spine, pressing the elbow down or reaching behind you. Doing the same as you did on the other side. And breathe. Three more breaths. And releasing the hands down, resting your hands on your legs, torso circles. So it almost feels like you're massaging the abs as you're pushing the stomach out, drawing a big circle, draw the belly in, moving the shoulders, really focusing on the stomach muscles and the stretch. And just draw those circles, rolling the stomach forwards and back. Letting the breath flow and then changing the direction. Pushing the stomach out, drawing it in, pushing it out, drawing it in. And coming to stillness, inhale, reaching the arms up, hands shoulder width apart, spread the shoulders. And on the exhale, spinal twist to the right, pulling on the leg, on the thigh, looking over your shoulder, really lengthening the spine, lengthening the neck. Twisting with the upper body, moving the shoulders down away from the ears. And inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, moving over to the other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, releasing the arms down. Making your way, if you're not already sitting, bending the right knee and placing that left foot cradle pose, so flexing the toes, trying to lift the foot up and place it in your elbow crease. Then taking your left arm around the bottom of the knee and interlocking your fingers together. You can use a bolt if you need to. Lengthening the spine, shoulders back, and gently squeezing that shin towards your chest. Don't force it back off if there is any pain. Holding this pose. And then slowly rocking side to side. And then changing sides, releasing the leg. Bending that left knee. Lifting the right foot up. Flex the toes. You're flexing the toes to keep the ankles strong, which also protects the knee. Placing that foot in the elbow crease. So you don't want your foot to be collapsing like this to the side. Really try to keep your ankles strong for this pose. Wrapping the arm around the thigh, interlocking your fingers together, and then straightening out the back. Breathe and start to rock side to side for that cradle. A really great pose for the hips. If you have tight hips, tight glutes, and even the hamstrings, back of the thighs. And finding stillness, releasing the leg, making your way to tabletop pose on your hands and knees. Wrists under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Feet hip width apart. And let's warm up the wrists. So fanning out your fingers, pressing the knuckles down, clawing those fingertips down, and then slowly just lifting the base of the wrist up and down. The arms stay straight. If this is too intense for you, you can walk the hands closer towards you, alleviating some of the pressure and the weight that's falling on the wrists. Otherwise, keeping those wrists under your shoulders. If this is quite easy and comfortable for you, you can lift the wrists a little bit higher onto the fingertips, up and down. Breathing in and out through the nose, but knowing you can take a cleansing breath through the mouth at any time during the practice. Rest at any time you need to, and back off at any time. Then turning your fingers to face the knees. And just a gentle stretch back, no force, moving slowly so you've got time to back off if there's any sharp pains, just a few centimeters back and forwards. Moving the ribs in. Pausing wherever you feel you need to in the stretch. And then fingers facing forwards. Rolling the shoulders in a circle over the fingertips. And then back. Feel the shift in the weight moving to the fingertips and into the base of the wrists as you send the weight back. Arms staying straight. And changing the direction. Ground those knuckles down. Breathe. Finding stillness, turning the back of the hands down, bending the elbows out to the sides, and then clenching and releasing your fists. If you can start to straighten the arms. Don't if there's any pain. Keep the elbows bent if you need to. And then hands down. Reaching the left arm up, but stacking your right wrist over your shoulder. Looking up towards the ceiling, stacking the shoulders over each other. Keep the hips level. Again, twisting with the upper body. And then threading the needle, left hand through the space, coming down into your shoulder and the side of the head. Right elbow pointing straight up, so the elbow is stacking over the wrist. Left palm facing up, and then if you feel like you can press down with the right hand, slowly looking up to the ceiling. Softening the muscles in the face. And pressing yourself up. Changing sides, grounding the left hand, reaching the right arm up towards the ceiling, opening the chest. Keep that left shoulder stacked over the wrist. And threading the needle, threading that right hand through the space, coming down into the right side of your shoulder and the side of your head, left elbow pointing up, pressing the left hand down next to your face, looking up towards the ceiling if you feel like you can. Just 2 more deep breaths. And pressing yourself up. Cat-cow. Inhale, tucking the toes, lifting the hips, lifting the chin. Exhale, untuck the toes, rounding the spine, draw the belly in, tailbone moving down, chin to chest. Inhale, tuck the toes, lifting the hips, lift the chin, shoulders back. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest, pushing away from the mat. Inhale. Exhale, untuck the toes.
And one more time, inhale.
And exhale. Finding that neutral spine. Tucking the toes, lifting the hips down, dog.
And just stretching out the back of the legs. You can pedal it out, working one heel down and then the other. Fanning out the fingers.
Middle fingers facing forwards, hands shoulder width apart.
Claw the fingertips down, knuckles pressing down, and then walk your feet hip width apart, sending the energy down into the heels, drawing the belly in and up. If you need to bend the knees to keep the back straight, please go for it. Engaging your quads, lifting the kneecaps up towards the ceiling. Spreading the shoulders, armpits turning to face the ankles. 3 more breaths. Looking between the legs or the navel as you turn your attention inwards. Up onto the toes,
Bending the knees, looking forward, walking to the front.
Hands to either side of the feet. Bend the knees, relax the neck as you look in between the legs. And then gently straighten out the legs only if you feel you can. Lifting the glutes up, lifting the kneecaps up, engaging the quads, your thighs. And then letting the hands hang. Straightening out the back of the legs and slowly one vertebra at a time, start to roll the spine up until you come all the way to stand. Shoulders back, palms to your chest. And you're going to do a flow of the water sun salutation. Inhale, reaching your arms up and back, lift the chest, hands shoulder width apart. And as you exhale, keep the back straight, arms next to the ears, all the way down. Bending the knees if you need to get the hands on either side of the feet, relaxing the neck. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Shoulders align with the hips. Moving the tailbone down, draw the ribs in, lengthening the neck as you look down. Exhale, forward fold, hands next to the feet. Stepping the right foot back, lowering the back knee and the top of the back foot. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Breathe. Lifting the chest, opening the chest, shoulders back, hands shoulder width apart, leveling the hips. Gazing up if you can, otherwise keep looking forwards, keep lifting in the chest. On the exhale, hands down. Tuck the back toes, step back to down facing dog. And breathe. Up onto the toes, rolling forward to plank. As you sink the hips down, you can do this on your knees if you need to. Shifting the shoulders over the fingers for chaturanga, bending the elbows in at your sides as you lower the chest and the hips all the way down. Untucking the toes. Inhale to cobra, elbows in, rolling the spine up. Pressing the hands down and pulling them towards you, using your back muscles to lift yourself up rather than pushing yourself up with your hands. Engaging the glutes. Exhale, lowering the chest all the way down. Tucking the toes. Lifting the hips to down dog, which you can do on your knees. Sending the hips back, or you can lift the hips all the way up and back. Working those heels down. Stepping the right foot forwards. Low lunge. Lowering the back knee, the back foot down. Inhale, arms up. Lifting the chest. Lifting the chin as you gaze up towards the ceiling or keep looking forwards. Pulling the right hip back, left hip forwards. Exhale, hands down. Tucking the back toes. Lift the back leg and then stepping that left foot forwards to the front. Forward fold. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Arms next to the ears. Keep the back straight. Slowly, with control, reaching the hands up and back. Exhale, palms to your chest. Deep breath. Cleansing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Right now we'll do the other side. Inhale, arms up and back. Exhale, keep the arms next to the ears, straight back. All the way down to a forward fold, hands on either side of the feet if you can, relaxing the neck. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, hands down, stepping the left foot back, low lunge, and tucking the toes, stacking the knee over the ankle. Inhale, arms up and back, and breathe. Exhale, hands down, downward facing dog, stepping the right foot back, working those heels down, spreading those shoulder blades, engaging the quads, straightening out the back, and stepping that left foot forwards, low lunge, stacking that knee over the ankle, reaching the arms up and back, and breathe, lifting the chest, pulling that right hip forward, left hip back. Exhale, hands down, tucking the back toes, lift the back leg, step the back foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, straight back, arms all the way up with control. Lifting the chest, slight engagement in the glutes, and palms together. Cleansing breath. And just taking a moment to notice how you feel. Staying connected with the body and the mind and the breath. And then stepping the right foot back. Now for warrior one, you can have your foot quite close to the front of the mat to give you more space to turn your hips, keep the hips level with each other facing this left leg, stacking the left knee over your ankle and reaching the arms up. Your back foot is slightly turned out to the sides. Reaching the arms up, hands shoulder width apart, lifting the chest, draw the belly in and up, and breathe. Warrior one. Standing archer pose, reaching the arms forward, holding your fingers in, thumbs up, and then like you're drawing a bow and an arrow, drawing the arm back, so drawing your left arm back, keeping that right arm facing forwards, lifting the elbows so the back elbow is in line with your shoulder, keep the chest open, gazing forwards, keep your eyes on the prize. Moving the tailbone down, strong legs. Softening into the shoulders so we're not tensing up to the ears. And reverse warrior, lower the back hand down to the back of the leg. Front arm reaching up and over the head, palm facing down, just a slight bend in that elbow. Lifting the chest, keep that knee, the front knee bent. Hips open. And then coming back to your warrior one, turning those hips to face the front leg. Breathe. Warrior two, opening the arms out to the sides. Soft shoulders, turn those hips to face the front. You can adjust the front foot if you need to, keep the knee stacked over the ankle. Arms out to the sides, soften the shoulders, engage in the back quad. Breathe. And really sinking deep, challenge yourself to eventually get the thigh parallel to the mat. Looking towards the front fingertips. Moving the stomach in and up as you lengthen your neck, lengthening the spine. Coming back to that reverse warrior, lift the chest, flipping that front hand, guiding it over the head. And then cartwheeling the arms all the way down, turning onto the back toes, stepping the front leg back to downward facing dog. Breathe, working the heels down, up onto the toes, shifting forwards to plank, which you can do on your knees if you need to. Keep the core strong. Exhale, chaturanga all the way down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Pressing yourself up, lifting the hips up and back. Up onto the toes, bending the knees, looking forwards, walking or floating to the front. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reaching those arms all the way up, nice and slow, keep the back straight. Exhale, palms to your chest. Cleansing breath. Drawing the tailbone down. Relaxing the shoulders. And then turning to face me. Legs nice and wide. Turning those left toes out to the sides. Right toes back. Warrior one on the other side. So your back foot can be closer to the mat. Toes slowly, slightly turn to the side. Turn your hips to face the front leg, ready, bending into that knee. Inhale, arms up. Breathe, hips facing forwards. Straightening out the back leg, moving the shoulders back. Draw the belly in and up. Standing archer, reach the arms forward. Tuck the fingers in, thumbs up. And then drawing that bow, bringing that elbow back, lifting the elbow up in line with your shoulder. Facing forwards, opening the chest, keep bending into the front knee. Deepening the breath, taking that cleansing breath if you need to. And reverse warrior, reaching the front hand up and over the head, sliding the back hand down the leg. Lifting the chest, slight bend in the elbow, gazing up towards the ceiling. Coming back to your warrior one. Hips forwards. Strong legs. Warrior two, arms out to the sides. Gazing forwards over the front fingertips. Softening the shoulders. Opening the hips and adjusting your foot if you need to. You know, really take your time to correct your own alignment in these poses. Not rushing to get to the next pose. Checking that both arms are the same height. Looking down, can you see your front toes peeping over the knee? And then cartwheeling the hands all the way down. Onto the toes of the back foot, stepping back to a downward dog. Up onto the toes, shifting forwards, dropping the hips for a plank. Exhale, chaturanga all the way forwards, shoulders moving over the fingers. Inhale to cobra. Untucking the toes, pulling the hands towards you. Exhale, lower the chest. Child's pose, lift the hips up. Knees up to the side, toes together. And stretch it out, relax the forehead down. Cleansing breath. And again, just checking in with yourself. Are you still present? Softening into the shoulders, feel the gentle stretch in your thighs and your arms. And then slowly lifting the chest,
Manasana pose. So from Manasana pose, feet out to the sides, fanning out the toes. If your heels are lifted, that's fine. Palms to your chest, using your triceps or elbows to open out the hips. Shoulders back, lengthening the spine, lengthening the neck, deepening the breath. Breathing in and out through the nose unless the nose is blocked. Filtering out the air. Oxygenating the blood. And energizing the body and the mind. And listening to the sound of your breath. Slight restriction in the back of the throat, so it sounds like the sea. And just 3 more deep breaths. Noticing the weight on all 4 corners of the feet. If it's leaning towards the front, send some weight to the back. And releasing the knees. Crow pose using blocks. So if you don't have blocks, you can grab some books, some really thick books. You might need a few. And you want to stack the blocks on top of each other. Now if this is too scary for you, you don't have to stack all this many blocks up. It's just a little bit easier the higher the blocks are to help you get into crow pose. So you'll start with your hands slightly turned out to the sides and then stepping onto the blocks without falling on your tippy toes. And then you're going to be lifting the hips up. Try to get your knees into the armpits. If you can't get your knees into the armpits, they can be on the back of the arms. This can be a little bit more painful, or they can be on the outer edges of your arms. So into the arms, back of the arms, outer edges of your arms, but it's all above the elbow. You don't want to be resting on the elbows or below the elbows. Okay, so hands slightly out to the sides. Ground the knuckles, claw those fingertips down. And as you bend the elbows, avoid bending them out to the sides. You want to bend them straight back. So there's a straight line from the elbows to the wrists. Okay, so lifting the hips helps you to get the elbows into the armpits, or the back of the arms, or the side of the arms. Shifting your weight forwards and looking a little bit forwards towards the front end of the mat, rather than looking down or towards the blocks, or looking forwards and holding this pose. Hold, breathe. If you feel comfortable enough, you can lift one foot up, pointing the toes. You can lift the other foot up. And you can just keep doing this, or if you feel like you can lift both feet up and hold and breathe. And slowly with control coming back down, not falling off the blocks, and stepping off the blocks. Now you can keep the blocks there to try again, or if you'd like to try without the blocks, or you can take one of the blocks away, your choice. So again, hands down, slightly turned out to the sides, knuckles down, fingers down. Up onto your tippy toes, feet hip width apart. Remember to bend the elbows straight back, either resting on the outer edges of your arms, which is a little bit easier, or on the back of the arms, or in the armpits. Looking forwards, leaning forwards. Really feel the weight moving into the fingertips. And then floating one foot up, bringing the heel as close towards the glutes as you can. If you feel like you can, do both. Moving the toes towards each other. And breathe. And just 2 more deep breaths. And then slowly coming down with control. Rolling your wrists, they might feel a little bit tender. And relaxing back, straightening out the legs. Take a cleansing breath. deep breaths in and out through the nose. And then reaching the arms forward for boat pose. Lifting the legs up. You can bend your knees to get into that pose. You don't have to keep the legs straight the whole time. If it's too much for the legs to be straight, you can keep them bent, using your core to support your posture. Otherwise, straighten the legs, looking towards the toes, and breathe. And then bending the knees, back straight, using the core. Keep the ankles up in line with your knees if you can. Holding for 3 more breaths. Nearly there. Straightening the legs, lowering the shoulders down. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Cleansing breath. Let it go. Soften the shoulders. Bring the toes. And then bending the knees for bridge pose. Bring the heels close towards you, feet hip width apart, knees in line with the hips. Lifting the hips up, engaging the glutes, tucking the shoulders under, palms pressing down for this variation. And hold, lifting the chest up towards the ceiling, lifting the chin. But keeping length in the back of the neck. Airways are open. Toes are forward, knees are forwards. Holding this pose or lifting the right leg straight up to the ceiling, flex the toes, straighten the leg as much as possible. Keep the hips lifted. Breathe. And then slowly changing sides with control. Remember, entering and exiting a pose is just as important as the pose. It's all about the journey. And slowly lower down 1 vertebra at a time, rolling the spine. Pressing the lower back down into the mat. Relaxing into the shoulders. Wheel pose. So you want to keep your knees bent, bringing the heels close towards you. For some of you, you'll be stacking the knees over the ankles. If that's not possible for you because of any pain or tension or tightness in the knees, you can have the feet a little bit further away. So just really listening to your body, playing with the pose, making those small adjustments to feel comfortable. And then pressing your hands flat down, either side of your ears, elbows pointing up. So please don't move the elbows out to the sides. This is going to put a lot of strain in the wrists. Elbows straight up, pressing the hands down. If your hands don't get flat down, then rather skip this pose. And then either holding here, just pressing down as hard as you can, trying to lift the hips up like you did for bridge pose, lifting the chin, and breathe. If you feel like you can, start to lift the middle of the back. And then if you feel like you can, pressing down, lifting the chest up, just to lift up into the top of the head. Noticing the elbows stacking over your wrists, not out to the sides. Breathe. If this is comfortable for you, then you can start to press, lifting the chest up. Relaxing the neck. And breathe. If you don't breathe, you will get a headache. These back bend poses are very exhilarating, energizing. Great for anxiety and depression. When you come out the pose, tucking the chin, slowly rolling down with control so you don't just fall on your head. Relaxing the back, relaxing the arms at your sides. And then just gently hugging the knees into your chest, not forcefully.
Just a gentle squeeze. Allowing the breath to move back to its normal rhythm, deep and slow. Happy baby pose, flexing the feet, bending the knees, elbows on the inside of the knees, hands on the outside of the feet. If you can't reach the feet, you can hold your ankles, your calves, or the back of your thighs. Pulling the legs straight down. Try to create this line from your ankles to your knees. Opening the hips, moving the toes back. And gently rocking side to side. And releasing the legs down. Plow pose or shoulder stand. So for shoulder stand, if you do experience any problems in your neck, rather avoid this pose, but you can do the beginning stages of the pose and listen to your body knowing when to back off. So reaching the legs up towards the ceiling, lifting the lower back off the mat, using your abs, lifting them up, and then placing your hands to your lower back to lift the hips up, bringing the elbows in, lifting the hips up so that there's space in your stomach, bending the knees. So you don't want to be crushing down on the stomach where there's no support. Ready to lift the hips up. Keep space between the chin and the chest. Breathe. The weight's on the back of your arms and your shoulders, and just a tiny bit on the back of the head, but not much. Holding this pose, or if you feel like you can, straighten the legs for a shoulder stand and really try to tuck the bum in. Space between the chin and the chest, stacking the ankles over the hips. And then slowly bending the knees, placing the hands down, and with control as you press your hands down and using the abs just to roll the spine down with control, one vertebra at a time. Supta Baddha Konasana, bottoms of the feet together, knees out to the sides. And holding your elbows above the head, feel the natural curve in the spine. Take that cleansing breath. Enjoying the flow of the breath. Noticing any tingling sensations within the body. And simply allowing yourself to be present in this moment, because it's all there really is. And then relaxing your arms to your sides. Eagle legs, so right leg over the left, as if you're sitting cross-legged. You can keep the legs just cross-legged like this, or you can tuck the right toes underneath the left ankle. So both knees are bent, knees are moving towards you. Legs are wrapped, and then letting the knees fall to the right. You can adjust yourself gently onto the right side, slightly more comfortable as the knees fall. Looking towards the left. If this isn't possible for you, you can release the feet. You can just have bent knees, let them windscreen wiper over to the right, looking to the left. Otherwise, eagle legs. Relaxing into the shoulders. into your back, changing the legs around, so left over right, or just letting the knees win through right over to the left, shifting onto your left side, and looking towards the right. And releasing the legs, straightening them out. You can either keep your toes pointed or feet flexed, reaching the right leg straight up towards the ceiling. Pressing the lower back down using your abs, lengthening the back of the neck, shoulders pressing down. Keep the engagement in the left leg. Softening the face, straightening the leg. Breathe. Holding for 3 more breaths. And slowly with control lowering the leg down. Changing sides, left leg reaching up. And you can notice, try flexing the feet, it stretches more the back of the legs, pointing the toes more of the front. So finding what feels good for you, what your body needs today. Three more breaths. And slowly lowering the leg down. With control. Squeezing your knees into your chest. Wind relieving pose. And then lifting your forehead towards the shoulders as you squeeze it in. Taking a deep breath in on the exhale, letting everything go for Shavasana. If there's any pain in your lower back, you can bend the knees. Otherwise, just relax, letting the feet fall to the sides, palms facing up, softening into the shoulders, feel them melting into the mat. Closing the eyes, take a nice cleansing breath as you release your fingers and your toes. Letting the fingers curl naturally. Relaxing the space between the eyes and moving the tongue away from the top of the mouth. And as you inhale, counting 1, and as you exhale, 2. And trying to make your way up to 10 while staying present. If you start using your energy on a thought, just bring yourself back, starting at 1. Focusing on the breath. And the thoughts will come and go, but it's when you start giving them your energy. And that's when you start over and bring yourself back. Breathing in and out through the nose. And you can stay here for as long as you like, or you can bring your breath back to its normal rhythm, deep and slow. Placing one hand on your stomach and one hand on your chest. Noticing the hands rise and fall as your stomach and chest do. And then softly opening the eyes, taking in your surroundings. Taking a moment to enjoy the stillness. And then hugging your knees into your chest. And slowly rolling into your side as you make your way to seated. Thank you for allowing me to guide you in this practice. I hope you enjoyed the class. Namaste.